Hey everybody, welcome to the book report. Today I am excited to bring to you Devyn Radke, who is with C&T, and we're going to talk product. We're going to talk product, we're going to talk books, we're going to talk about how to use the project planner. We get to talk a little bit about a couple of her passions, and at the end we talk food. I am so excited to talk food with her too. A little bit of coffee, tea, wine, a little steak, all that kind of stuff. So please welcome Devyn to the Book Report. And what we're hoping to do is a quarterly review of things that are coming soon. Hey everybody, welcome to the Book Report. I am Teri Lucas, author of Color, Thread, and Free Motion Quilting, Learn to Stitch with Reckless Abandon. And I am so excited to have Devyn Radke here from C&T Publishing. And Devyn, what is your title again?
Yes, I am marketing coordinator at C&T.
And what does that what does the marketing coordinator do?
There's a bunch of things. So mainly I coordinate all of the marketing materials. I also organize the trade shows and anything that we go to. And so stuff like that.
Will you be going to market?
I organize it. I won't be there physically, but I will be organizing it.
I'm on the fence this year about market. It's of course, and I live like 2.5 hours away. So like
We'll see, yeah.
there we go. There we go. So what is your crafting background?
So I grew up with arts and crafts. So I do painting mainly. It's blurred right now, but I have some paintings on my wall. It's acrylic painting. I recently got into like paper quilling and card making. So I've been kind of dabbling in that. And last winter, I actually quilted my first quilt. So being at C&T and having all these resources, my wonderful coworkers, and all of the great books and products, I decided it's winter break. I should try something. So I quilted my first quilt and I really love quilting now. So hopefully getting started on my second one in the next couple of weeks.
Ooh, was it for somebody special?
No, it was just something I really wanted to try out and I had some time on my hands, so I just wanted to. And now though it's just like sitting in my living room. So
That's that's what happens. Quilts sit until we're ready to use them, give
yes.
them away, do whatever with them. So I hear you have some product to share, books and product to share with us today. What's exciting at C&T these days?
Um, there are a lot of really exciting books and products that I'm looking forward to. But I'd also like to share some of the ones that I've either worked with or are really interested in general. And I think being somebody who's very new to quilting, there's so much information out there, which is really great, all those free projects and tips and tricks and stuff, but sometimes it can get really overwhelming and not
Mm.
really knowing where to start. So I have it right here. My first, oh,
Oh,
so
Alex's book, Teach Me to Make My First Quilt.
yeah. So I used my first quilt was the 9 patch out of Pat Sloan's book, and that was really, really fun and really, really easy. I found though that I like picking out fabric and stuff really exciting and I love
Well,
the patterns and stuff.
just so you know, collecting fabric and actually making quilts are two entirely different hobbies.
I found, yeah, I have all like my scraps and stuff and I'm thinking, oh man, I know there's like resources and other things that I could be using my scraps towards. And so I've yet to dive into that, but it was so hard going to like Joann's and picking out fabric, but also not really knowing what to do with it, just wanting it
Y-
just to have.
Sometimes we just need to have things that are pretty.
Yes, yep, exactly. Yep. So that was really, it was really fun and super easy with all of the different graphs and different step-by-step pictures and stuff. So although my quilt ended up being a little bit more on the wonky side, but I would call it a success overall,
Uh,
which was really fun.
just so you know, anytime every single quilter who has ever quilted a thing something goes wonky somewhere. So please,
Yeah.
welcome to the club. Really, it's perfect.
Thank you. Yes, and it was also my very first time using a sewing machine, so it was like it went hand in hand. But hopefully with my next one, I'm gonna challenge myself a little bit more. I think I'll probably try to make a table runner
Mhm.
next time. Um, but another book that I really like, let me see, I'm going to, okay, is I've been into air dry clay, or I've been trying to get into it a little bit more.
Okay.
So I have air
Oh,
dry clay um, by Radka. And so that one's really fun. I was looking through it and it kind of combines the creative art of molding the air dry clay and also painting. So coming from a painting background, I was really excited. Or I'm really
hmm.
excited to kind of dive into it. But um, yeah, there's a lot of great things. If you like candles, they have like candle holders and like charms and stuff.
Oh, look at those.
I know. Let me unblur my background. Maybe that will.
And then we can see your painting
There
too.
we go. Oh, my
I love that.
lots of flowers these days and like birds and stuff. But um, things that I've been needing right now are coasters. So
Oh, cool.
there's some really cute
I
ideas.
like I like that stone type of or that clay type of coaster.
Yeah, yeah, me too. And the kind of like speckled look too. Um, not having like a kiln or anything to fire up clay. I think it's a really good craft to do during the summer.
Hmm. Are you using like how are you it just dries in the air? Do you have to put it in the sun?
I think you can put it in the sun, but I don't think you want it to dry out too quickly. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, you just leave it out room temperature and it will dry within the next 24 hours and then you paint over it and stuff. So
Oh, do you have to work fairly quickly then?
no, the clay itself is pretty wet and then
Okay.
you just like mold it and then hopefully it will just stay. If you have like wrinkled border or something, um, it will dry like that. So
Nice.
yeah, so I'm really excited to start painting stuff.
Excellent. Excellent.
And then I wonder how far I can go in terms of like coming soon. We do our like book launches and stuff,
Mhm.
meetings and stuff a year in advance. So there's a lot of different products I'm really looking forward to. But recently, I wonder maybe I can share my screen. Doo-doo.
You should be able to.
Yeah, okay, let's see. All right, can you see my screen?
Oh my goodness, you're gonna do it again.
I am really looking forward to the Quilt Builder card deck Christmas set. We recently had a marketing meeting about this and just seeing all the different kind of blocks. You can obviously use it for your quilting or quilting sampler, but also there's different sizes. So you can make it into like a little coaster or like even um, like a table runner and like things like that. So I'm really excited to do this. And working at C&T, I realized, like Christmas in July is a huge thing. So
Yes.
um, hoping to, I placed an order for this. So once I get my hands on it, I'll be going back to Joann's and looking for fabric. But there's some
That's
really
exciting.
cool, yeah, there's some really good, really cool layouts and stuff in this one. Our product team, Galen, Betsy, and Debbie really spent a lot of time curating these blocks. So I'm really excited.
I would be too. I am too, just seeing it because I can actually see, I can almost see a quilter challenge, like, make send it out to a number of people and then do a blog hop going, hey, look at what you can do with this kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a great idea. and we're always in marketing trying to brainstorm different ideas. And this one is super, we curated with the Quilt Builder card deck series in general. So hopefully this is
Mhm.
also a gateway for other types of card decks. So really exciting. And I think what's really great about this product too is that um, even though it's built for quilters, you can really do it for like wool felting and use all the other layouts for other things that span across other mediums. So
And I
really,
can actually see you using it in your with your air dry clay, making well, and what you didn't see before is I have quilted coasters.
oh, those are
So it
so
looks like a quilt block. So you could do a whole series kind of like this, or create pieces and then let people put their blocks together out of the air dry clay because it would just be so fun to see what people come up with.
that is a great idea that I didn't even think of. I might have to try that though. That's really, really cool. And yeah, I'm gonna have to try that and I'll get back to you on that.
Please do. I'd love to see an idea come to fruition.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm really excited. This product though is releasing in August 25th of this year. So
Mhm,
hopefully in time for people to start um, ordering it and also making some of the blocks and stuff
mhm.
in time for Christmas and the holidays. But let's see, what else do I have? Are you into baking?
Yes, I am a baker.
I I am not so like I'm not like a regular baker or like cooker or like anything, but and we briefly kind of discussed the royal icing
Yes,
cookie. You joined the book tour
I
for this
did. And
one.
I have that like within sight here. I love that book. I love a book where there's enough imagery that is really enticing. Years ago, I didn't do royal icing. I worked with buttercream. And so like creating baskets and flowers and that kind of thing. I loved doing that. And for me, with some of the icing work that I did, there's a crossover into quilting because some of the shapes are the same.
Mhm.
And so it was easy enough to kind of m mold the two, meld the two together in a way that is, kind of fun.
Yeah, for sure. That's really cool. I know the author Morgan Beck. She made these really beautiful quilt designed royal icing cookies for Fall Quilt Market last year for some of our top accounts, and they were a huge hit. I mean, of course, everyone wanted to get their hands on one, and they're beautiful. But
Hmm.
like you said, I really did like the cute orange or tangerine. Having those step by step photos is so helpful, and it's also helpful that they're cute too. So
Yeah. It is definitely helpful that they're cute.
yeah. But there's like so many really great things in that book. I've never tried royal icing cookies, but or tried making them,
Hmm.
but the lettering and all the other techniques of piping and stuff,
Hmm.
I'm really excited to start trying. And uh, let me see her Instagram. I follow her Instagram on like my private account because her cookies are so gorgeous. Um, here it is. I wonder if I can.
If you bring it up on your screen, you should be able to share it because
Oh,
I started following her after I got the book. And of course, she doesn't come up in my feed very often. However, I love her work.
I do too, and she's always posting really cute themed cookies for like birthday parties or weddings or other types of events. So those are always really, really fun. Let me, but I'm hoping to. I keep saying like I'm gonna be doing it this summer. I'm gonna do all the things over the summer. But let me share my screen one more time.
Oh, look. Oh my goodness. Look at that.
No, it's all of them are like gorgeous, but
Oh yeah.
and what I found when I was reading the book and also kind of looking at her Instagram is that a lot of the techniques that she uses for her business, like this lettering, this piping of the border is in the book. So
Hmm.
a lot of this with your, your own creativity and your own spin is very doable, even for like a beginner. With a little bit of practice, getting to
And
her level.
one of the ways that when I was learning to decorate cakes, which is something that I've kind of transferred over to quilting, is putting a piece of acetate over something and then using a dry erase marker, or or when I was learning cake decorating, we did the piece of acetate and just piped frosting onto it, because then you get the feel for what the lettering is or what the shape is without, and this is something that crosses genre, like, oh, I'm gonna ruin it. I'm gonna ruin the cookie. You can always start over. You
Exactly.
can, but doing it on the acetate or some kind of plastic where you can see underneath gives you the opportunity to just practice. So I can see doing it with cookies and, you know, that kind of whatever lettering that you want to do, whatever shapes that you want to do. So yeah,
Yeah, that's a
no
great
fun.
tip. I'm gonna have to remember that one. Yeah, I don't know. I might actually start with that tangerine one before I dive too much into lettering. But another exciting product. And then let's see. One that is coming up soon, fairly soon, is Patty Murphy's Zero Waste Quilting, which is very, it's
Did that just come through in the release?
um, what do you mean release?
Um, I get the email to download books in advance. Did that just come through?
No, not yet. It's
Okay.
coming in through the next one, but it's going to
Okay.
be released in November, on November 25th of this year. Um,
Lovely.
and it is all about, so I think this is a really interesting concept of not only being sustainable in like the fabric you use and the scraps you use, but she gives you products to make the quilts, but also gives you ideas on what to use with those quilt scraps that you
Okay.
just kind of already cut up. And so she really takes this mindful approach in fabric buying and what you have and try to minimizing that waste. And I've read articles here and there about what to do with your scraps, scrappy quilting, wonky quilting, and things like that, which is I found like super popular in my quilt journey. But also being, like I said, super mindful of what you do with your stash and
Hmm.
how to repurpose it too.
Hmm.
So I'm excited to get my hands on this one.
I love that so much.
Yeah, me too. And there's some really beautiful, beautiful projects and colors and stuff. Of course, I think being gravitating towards different fabrics or patterns or like super colorful or more muted tones and color, which I found also color is a huge thing that I'm still trying to. I don't think it's like mastering color, especially when it comes to quilting, um, is hard.
Yes and no. One of the things that I did in color thread and free motion quilting was talk about how quilters look at color. We kind of look at color differently.
Mhm.
Instead of looking at the color as a color, part of what we're doing is how relatively light or dark a color is, because that's what we're going for is contrast to define the lines in that kind of thing. And uh, the oddly enough, the easiest tool or the two well, okay, C&T has this massive line of tools, and the one that I love the most is actually the ultimate 3-in-1 color tool. It's the all the everything that's on the color tool is on your poster. and everything that's on the poster is in the color tool. But the color tool also has the ruby and the green filters,
Mhm.
which helps it helps understand the value of it. And once we get there, like once we get to that place, then the rest of it falls into place. And uh, there's there's almost a point where as quilt makers, we put so much emphasis on getting it perfect that we forget that learning anything in the quilting process is it's a process.
Mhm.
And part of what we're doing is defining how we love color, like what is important to us. And like on your picture behind you, I
Mhm.
would, you've got some great color contrast going on in there. And I can actually see that being made into a quilt because it's something that would be repeatable in a number of different colorways. Like you can change the background and you have a different quilt. You can change the leaf colors and have a different quilt. And because I'm into machine quilting, that's another layer that can help hide something that you don't like. It can highlight something that you love. And it gives you another way of like when something's not working, like you're looking at it and it's just screaming at you, like, I really shouldn't be here. You have a couple of choices. You can take it out, which some quilters have done, or you can simply mask it with other things, like really highlight it with the with quilting in the complementary or split complementary colors so it doesn't scream at you quite so much.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, what I do like with the books and products at C&T is being able to pair a tool with a book
Mhm.
and really getting maybe a more well-rounded idea of, in this instance, color. I have yet to purchase or get my hands on any of the color tools specifically, but I will keep that one in mind, the ultimate three-in-one color tool.
Hmm. And personally, like I would partner that with, so looking at C&T's range of colors, Katie Fowler's her foolproof color approach, with the color, her foolproof colorware, because it really does give a lot of fantastic information, right? And practical experience. So I've been teaching color at my local shop with that. And then you just came out with the shades and tones color wheels, and I'm like smitten with those. They're just fabulous. They're just fabulous.
Yeah, and a lot, obviously a lot of work and time goes into trying to curate some of these color tools so that they are useful and that you are able to understand some of the fabrics that you're working with and those undertones and stuff. So that's really cool. I'm glad you like those.
Oh, totally smitten with them. Like every quilter should have them.
Yeah, for sure. I think speaking of the color tools, as I said, I have yet to get my hands on some of them, but the specifically the palette builder color tool, I was debating whether purchasing this before I go into like a fabric shop to purchase fabric, just so that I can kind of see which, I mean, I could some of the color combinations that I think would look good. I quilted. It was more like sewed something together, and what I thought the colors would look good together for the pattern, I was like, oh, I wasn't as happy with it as I thought I would be. So I'm wondering if like having these tools too in a quilt shop and having the pattern available would maybe help
Hmm.
a little bit of that.
Yeah, I would say that I would say that it actually would. Um, But the other teacher along, like partnering with that, is the experience. Like, oh, I think this is going to look fantastic. And then you get the, oh, it's not quite what I thought. But there are so many, like that's beautiful because now you have the experience of this didn't quite work out the way that I thought that it would. And I would say too, like if you have a body of work in your paintings, like if you kept some of your earlier stuff, look at it, take 15 minutes and look at how you've progressed and changed over time, because that same kind of progression and change will happen in your quilt making. You'll become as you become more confident, everything else will fall into place.
That is a really good tidbit. I think I've been trying to be more confident with, picking fabrics and like quilting in general. So, yep, time and experience. I have to give myself time to experience all that there is with quilting, which I found is a lot. Um, like the hand quilting versus machine quilting. Um, have yet to do hand quilting, but
It's a totally different technique.
yeah.
And it's what, it's one to try. It's been a while since I've done it, but I can still do the rocking stitch and so I've done both.
Yeah.
Fun. So what's your next tool or book that's coming?
Yeah, let's see. I recently, so especially in the summer, I love wearing skirts. And
Okay.
so I got this Make Your First A-line skirt.
Oh, that's beautiful. Who's the author?
Jonah, ooh, I might butcher the last name.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
probably do that too.
Um, but I was reading through this the other day, and I loved the different types of skirts, and also really breaking down, like for instance, like I really want to try to make a ruffled skirt, and
Hmm.
the different components it is in what it means to garment. So I have experience in terms of like hemming my own clothes and stuff, but actually making something from scraps of fabric is very new. But aside from the beautiful photography, really breaking down what the skirt is and what you will need, but also cutting. Like this one, this has great graphics too.
Oh yeah. Those are great graphics.
So as a novice, breaking down the different components and stuff like that, I really, really appreciated. And what's really, really cool about this one, not only the type of spiraled book, which is super easy to put on my table while I am sewing, is the different like embellishments you can add, like things that I wouldn't really think of aside from, the ruffles, but a cute ribbon or a pattern here or there to kind of make it unique and your own. So I'm really excited for this one as well. And all of these products and things, I'm like, I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna make this. I will probably turn it into a blog for, you know, C&T. Um, but I'm really excited for this. And I found what I like about this too is the patterns that you use for quilting versus, garments completely different. So really diving into some of the patterns that I like, but will also, I think, will turn into a great garment piece.
Mhm.
Um, Something I'm really looking forward to. I also just love shopping for fabric in general. I just like being there.
Um, have you looked at the batik fabrics?
I have, yes.
Yes, I think those would they're the because of the batiking process, the fabric is a little bit denser, or the weave ends up being a little bit tighter, but they do I back in 100 years ago, I would make some of my own skirts or jumpers from that because they're just so pretty.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down and I will keep that one in mind too. I debated on that, but then yeah, I also kind of want to go towards um this being like my first one too. I don't want to spend like too much money on fabric because I know it's gonna turn out maybe a little wonky, but maybe that's just personalization.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I learned, it probably took me a couple of years to learn it, but one of the ways that I started improving my own quilt making and even my own garment sewing was buying the good fabric and just going ahead and using it. In part because it is better quality fabric, but when we have good tools, it actually helps us do better work.
That is a good point that I hadn't thought of. So maybe I will go ahead and just get what I want.
And
And
the worst thing that can happen is that you take what you made and then pull it apart and make it into a quilt, or you make it into pillows, or if it's wearable but it doesn't quite fit the way that you want it, it might be a giveaway where, where you raffle it off on the C&T
yeah.
page. I made a skirt, it's this size.
Yeah.
Here's the measurements.
That's a good idea. Yep.
Comment here.
Win something. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Maybe that's what will happen, but um that's a great idea.
You're not, I will never hold you bound to.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe I'll become a super good garment sewer and just start making a bunch of things for for
Oh my
people.
goodness. A few years ago, oh gosh, I want to say this was before 2020. Um, C&T put out a book on tunic making.
Oh,
Oh,
I'll have to look that one up.
I would definitely. If you like if you like skirts and dresses, you know, these would be delightful. Skirts with leggings.
Yeah, was it the Tunic Bible?
Yes. Mhm.
Yes.
It was two women authors. There's like tons of patterns in there. And a pattern like that would be a little bit more forgiving
Yeah,
than, an A-line skirt.
that's a good point. Yes, I will. This will be on my next list to purchase. The Tunic Bible, yes, by Sarah Gunn and Julie Starr.
Yeah. I think I was at the market where that was released. Wow, it was, and I think they gave a really good presentation. So,
Oh my, yeah, those are beautiful. So I will definitely put that on my list. Speaking of garments, so I have this on my list too, to purchase, and it's out now. Actually, this month is Reclaimed Quilts, So Modern Clothing and Accessories from Vintage Textiles,
oh, lovely.
by Kathleen McVeigh and Dale Donaldson.
Do you
Even
have
though
that
I'm
up on
still,
your screen?
yes, I will share my screen.
Oh, that's delightful. Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful photography, but also inside the book, you have different accessories. That's Kathleen right there. But these beautiful vintage quilts, or even quilts that maybe you no longer will be using, or
Mm-hmm.
you've been gifted, turning them into these like this beautiful jacket.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. The guy's got a great beard.
Yeah. Here's another view of that. And what else was there? Oh, this beautiful tote bag.
Mm-hmm.
That is so cute. I want to make that. Or even like vests.
The tote bags are easy to turn around.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's good to
Oh,
know.
look at those pants.
Oh, they're so cute.
Yes.
So yes, reclaimed quilts. What I like about this one too is they really take you through the process of what it means to take apart a quilt and all the different layers that comes with it, and
Okay.
what to do with the different battings. If when you purchase a quilt, you might not exactly know what's going on the inside. So being able to create a garment that is, if you like symmetrical, or if you don't, if you like that asymmetrical look,
Mm-hmm.
they really take you through what would be recommended for the different styles that they offer. So they have the dresses, the pants, tote bags, and vests. So
That's
um,
amazing.
it is, yes, and it's like super in style too. Those I've been into some stores and I'm like, oh, is that is that quilted? It is. It's a quilted like dress or something. So
Mhm.
um beautiful, beautiful. I'm really excited to read through that a little bit more and maybe maybe do that this summer or over the winter time. But
Oh, you know what might be helpful? This is another one of my favorite C&T part products. You have the quilter's planner and the sewer's planner. You have all those planners. Oh my gosh, those planners are absolutely they're great because again recently when I was teaching I was showing the planner. I'm like, look, you can put all your fabrics here, all staple or tape in or do whatever with your fabrics, but you can also put, like for me, it's what thread am I going to use to quilt this? What am I going to use to piece this? So what do I need to make sure that I have on hand at home so that I can get going. So those planners are fantastic.
yeah, that's a great point. And I can share my screen one more time so we can take a look at some of those.
The
Uh,
Quilter's Project Planner.
yes, I totally forgot about this for a second.
And look, the color wheel is right there.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's so yes, 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 yes. I remember. This was a little bit before I came on, but
hmm
um that is super useful. And being oh yeah, being able to sketch and put your notes in for different
hmm
and then
Yep. Great amount of pages. There's the Garment Maker's Planner. Again, great amount of pages. And particularly for somebody who is newer to garment sewing, like gathering all your stuff and making sure that you have all the supplies that you need to sew, like that is super handy.
that is super handy. I will put this on the list as well. I did look through this a few months ago, and what I did like about it, not only the amount of pages that you have to plan and stuff,
hmm
but all this, for instance, the Garment Makers Project Planner, all this additional information to consider or things you might not even really think about when you are in the midst of like planning and also sewing at the same time.
hmm
So,
Oh, and look at that, the good scissors. You have to good scissors are priceless. And the beautiful thing I like about the planners, as well as some of the other books that I've seen come out of C&T lately, is that they're flat lay or they're spiral bound so that they're going to just stay open. You're not, having to either mark your page or you can just leave it right by your place where you're stitching.
for sure, that's definitely really, really useful. The production team thinks of everything these days. But so hopefully the garment making sometime soon. I
Mhm.
found just going to thrift shops too, looking at quilts and um not only appreciating the art of them, but uh there I in Portland we have a lot of like thrift shopping is like a huge, huge, huge thing. So I've been kind of on the lookout too for panels. I've been really interested in panel quilting. And I know Cindy, you recently interviewed her.
I did. I did. We had a good conversation about how she uses panels and that they're a springboard into a quilt. They can be the quilt, but they can also be the springboard, giving you like ideas both for combining blocks, which is where the quilt maker we talked about the quilt maker's card deck and how we can, bring that in on that as well. The ultimate 3-in-1 color tool is also one of those things that you can use with that particular book. And the project planner, like what are all the things that you need? The graphing out a design.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I did watch that when that episode, which I really, really liked, by the way.
Me too.
But I think it's also really interesting how Cindy McChesney, her panel, first off, I mean her panel quilts are like gorgeous, but her books really kind of deconstruct, like you said, about um the not only the formatting of the quilt itself, but also those fabrics that you use and how to reimagine some of those panels and how to use those too. So her book Playful Panel Quilts and her other one Fun with Panels uh, are really, really interesting to me. And also, I like that some of these books, also some of them have the adjacent Creative Spark courses with them, so you can follow along with the book and be able to basically have Cindy McChesney on your screen, kind of instructing you on different
Hmm.
things. So I might have to sign up for that Creative Spark course as well.
I, I would do that
Yeah.
if I were you. In part because Cindy is just delightful, but also because she teaches good technique. And I know one of the things that she and I talked about was there's one quilt in there where I went, "Did you do open seam or partial seam piecing on that?" And she's like, "Yes, but I figured out how not to do that." And part of it was that was a learning experience, and part of that was like, sometimes, if you're not careful, sometimes these things can happen, and here's how I handled it. So,
Yeah, it's a good learning experience overall.
absolutely.
So hopefully getting myself into panel quilting. I have like a whole list of things that I want to do and craft and things like
Hmm.
that. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So I feel like I have a very jam-packed summer ahead of me to create. So
Mm. Did does C&T have a book on quilling?
no, paper quilling, no, we do not. Not that I am aware of. Hope my coworkers see
Hmm.
this
Is
video.
authorship in your
I
future?
I think maybe I think it would be really cool to have a paper quilling book itself. I think like I first started paper quilling with a kid at Michael's, and they're super easy to follow, and the designs were really really cool. Being able to frame that too in like a shadow box or something like that. But I hope, I mean, maybe in C&T's future, diving more into the paper crafts and
Hmm.
other things. I know we always, we really do focus on those color tools and the quilting in general, but branching into some of those paper crafts would be really, really fun.
Hmm. And what else do you have for us this afternoon?
Um, Speaking of paper, oh, there are somewhere. I recently purchased Carol Doak's mini art frames, and those are so cute. I what I want to do with I have one with just like paper. I gave it to my sister. I paper quilled like a cat, and
Hmm.
I framed it. And I think they're great to not only frame on your wall or like just have it in your computer workspace, and kind of it really does kind of liven up the space. And they're like highly customizable. So even though I use mine for paper quilling, I've thought of other ideas of displaying one of my smaller art pieces, um, even displaying a quilt block if you like
Hmm.
sew a tinier one and display one. Um, and I think that I mean I think those are great things for personalized cards. I'm already thinking of the holidays, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna send this and do some of the shopping. And this year I really do want to add a touch of personalization, and so I think that's what I'm gonna do with. I bought a few set of these cards, is start working on them and create something for my loved ones. And recently we went to QuiltCon
Hmm.
this past year in February, and we had a partnership with Moda where people came and they had a booth with Carol Doak's mini art frame cards, and people just kind of came and like designed their own, and with just some markers and pens and stuff. And those turned out really really cool. I was able to see some of the artwork from that, and I think we do have actually a blog post on that on our C&T blog. Um, but
Are
I
you
think that
selling those frames through C&T?
yes, we are.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can share my screen too, just to kind of see what they.
Oh,
So they are the pack comes with 8 cards and 8 envelopes, so that's really fun too.
oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to order that.
Please do. They are they are super cute. It's
They,
like
you know what they are? I, so I, I can see putting like a small quilted piece in something like that just to send off to a friend as a word of encouragement or something.
yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, those. And so you can kind of see here they have the a separate kind of fold so that you can put in your art piece and it will kind of hold. And then you
Mhm.
have your place to write your
Like,
letter.
that's so lovely.
So I'm really excited to also do a little bit of that. And they're really great with all sorts of mediums, like you do watercolor and other types of painting. I thought about like embroidery too, just like a piece of fabric and embroidering some of that. And these are really durable cards. So being able to work with any kind of medium, mixed medium, is really, really fun, fun art project for even the
Mhm.
kids too, and have them framed on your wall or something.
Yeah, that would be a blast. Like their own little.
Yeah.
And looking at the size, it just occurred to me that's the years ago Zentangle was really popular, and that's about the inset is about the size of the car um the Zentangle tile. So you could Zentangle in there.
Perfect.
I I loved how I saw the light go off. That was delightful.
Now it's like, yes. Well,
So many mediums, so little time.
I know, I know. And it's so hard to just focus on one when you want to do them all. So,
Hmm.
but um,
Is there anything new coming out in the cosplay world?
let me think. At the moment, I haven't heard of anything yet.
Okay.
I know we are wanting to expand our list of cosplay titles in general. By
Mhm.
the way, we actually are going to be at Rose City Comic Con in Portland, Oregon in September.
Oh, hey. Does that mean that
Okay.
people will get to meet you?
Yes, I will be there, which is super exciting. So not only will I meet my coworkers in person for the first time, I will see some cosplay authors there. So that's
Oh, and you can scout new authors.
yes, that is I think one of the goals too is not only is kind of putting so our imprint fan powered press, we are
Hmm.
really trying to push it so that people not only know that we're there as a publisher, but
Right.
also that we have all of these really great books that are really great resources, especially for beginner cosplayers. Um, One that I can think of at the moment is Amanda Hawes. Hawes's creative cosplay is really geared. I mean, a lot of these are geared towards the beginner and intermediate cosplay maker or costumer. But what I really like about hers is that she gives you a lot of the skills and tools to practice on
Hmm.
different props and stuff.
Do you
So
have her book up on your screen?
I do, you know, I should remember that, huh?
That's okay. I will continue to prompt. Yes, I remember when that came out. So yes, if you are watching this and you are remotely into cosplay, that would be a book to get.
Yes, and it's very comprehensive too. So she not only kind of talks about, she even goes into like cosplay in general. Like for me, I'm not as familiar with the community.
Hmm.
So going back into like reading the history and kind of some of even costuming and cosplay as career and an art form in general.
Hmm.
Um, she talks about props and wigs and shoes and other different really cool and what to expect for cosplay competitions if you're into some of those comic cons. But beautiful work too. But
Hmm.
like I said, really geared towards the beginner and kind of intermediate cosplayer, sewist, or garment sewer. So I'm really exciting for this one. And by the way, we also have Cosplay Academy coming up, our very first live event for cosplayers.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's next month. It's actually in a month, July
Okay.
13th. July 13th at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Um, this will be our very first cosplay um, Creative Spark live event.
Hmm.
Uh, and it's really, really exciting to see all these different creators too. I mean, even with the other like color mixer or embroidery extravaganza, having a virtual space, even if though it's virtual, having a space with all these creators sharing all these really great tips and techniques about specifically with cosplay too. Cardboard with like props and like knowing what kind of adhesives to use and painting techniques. Super useful stuff. Very, very cool to also see maybe one of your favorite cosplayers on screen
And
enjoying.
speaking of Creator Spark, there's another, is there not, there's another event coming up soon too, like either a color mixer or,
Embroidery extravaganza. So that's
right.
coming up in on August 8th
Okay.
from at 1 p.m. Pacific time. And our keynote speaker for that one is Megan Zanusky,
Hmm.
the stump work embroidery
Oh,
author.
yes.
Yes.
She had some great stuff in her book. Like
It
really beautiful, really, really beautiful work.
Yeah, I mean, I've dabbled in embroidery, but when I saw her book, I was like, oh my goodness, the world kind of really opened up with like stump work and like thread painting. So her work is beautiful. So I'm really excited to attend that one. Um,
Yay.
so we have a lot of really cool things coming up for Creative Spark and C&T on both sides. So we're just also hoping to get the word out more for some of our cosplay titles as well.
Hmm. As well you should, because you've got some really beautiful books coming out.
Yeah, lots of really cool tools. And we also have, okay, maybe this will be the last
Okay.
slide to share. I don't think it's on the site yet. It's coming out in December, but Marcy Baker is coming out with the ultimate value tool.
Oh,
And
good.
it's this will I so I also write the back cover copy of our books and products. So I thought this one was really unique because each how do I explain this? It has a cutout so that you can put it over fabric or whatever medium you're working with
Mhm.
and really determine the value of it. So it's less of a color tool and more of like a value finder and really understanding what kind of fabrics you're using and the colors that are associated with your pattern and stuff like that. So more to come on that though. I know we have a few like marketing things for that one, but I know Marcy is super excited for another one of her great products to be out there in the world.
As well she should be.
But I think that is all that I have at the moment. I mean, I could talk about all these other different books and products for a long, long time. Um, but I think that was pretty comprehensive of what's coming up for C&T and Creative Spark.
Yay. And a little bit about you. Um, Favorite ice cream?
Oh man, favorite ice cream. I am a sucker for anything with chocolate. So even just like a basic chocolate ice cream. Being in Portland though, I mean we're a huge foodie town. So we have, Salt and Straw and some of those like so recently I really like that we have at Salt and Straw there's a Lucky Charms ice cream. And it's one of my newer favorites. It's so good. Lucky Charms in an ice cream.
Yeah, that would be a Gen Xer's dream.
Yeah.
Dream. It would be like breakfast. Yeah, after school snack, whatever.
So good, so good.
Uh,
Do you have a favorite?
Um, uh, I can tell you this. I like almost whatever ice cream is in front of me. Right. Um, I loved when Quilt Market was in Portland, which was the last time it was in Portland. friends and I went to Salt and Straw and stood online for however long to get in the door. So it was so good. So good. I don't remember what I had. But I can remember we went back twice because it was just so good. In terms of flavors, um, I think I'm in love with chocolate, but I love coffee too. And so yeah, coffee. So a second question then, coffee or tea or both?
I love both. Recently, though, I've been chugging a lot of coffee, but I love a good oolong or a green tea.
Hmm.
What about you?
I'm more of a coffee drinker. Oddly enough, even though I live in the South, I prefer unsweetened tea. If I'm gonna drink cold tea, I don't put anything, I put just a little milk in my coffee and, it's all good. Um, in my sewing room, when I'm in here creating, because I actually am in my sewing room, um, I will either have coffee, I will have wine because one does, or lately I've been into a, I like sparkling water. So I've been drinking grapefruit and lime and beach plum and whatever other flavors, passion fruit that I can find.
I love that.
Yeah, lots of ice and big enough container.
That's good. Staying hydrated, that's important. Yes.
Yes, yes. Hydrate. Hydration is good. And favorite meal.
Oh my goodness, you can't do this to me.
But
Favorite
and yet I
meal.
just did.
Being in Portland, there's so many. I honestly, I love anything with rice. So, um, recently, okay, I will say my favorite meal though is something Thai. I love Thai food, so
Okay.
pad Thai, rice with like fried chicken and like a good chili sauce is
Hmm.
always classic with a like a runny egg on top. So,
Oh, yes.
yes, a runny. You have to have the runny
Yes.
egg. What about you?
Um, So when we were in Portland, there was I don't know if it's still there, but there was a pho place right in the neighborhood of the Salt and Straw that we went to. I like pho with a really good broth, but if I'm like going completely luxurious, like a really beautifully cooked steak is off the hook.
You can't go wrong with a nice steak.
Yeah.
Oh, sounds so good.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for joining and putting a name to a face. It's, we've been going back and forth for a little over a year with these, and I actually am very excited about the oh scrappy wonky blog tour that starts. I'm going to post this probably Tuesday or Wednesday next week. But it's the scrappy wonky tour starts on Monday, which would be the 17th. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes, it does start on next Monday, and we have a really, really great lineup of um, participants, including yourself, which is really exciting. We have Quilt Blocks. Pat Sloan will be
Hmm.
joining us on that. Barbara Amodi also, and some other
Um,
really great creators. So really
and
excited for the book
and
tour.
I brought Debbie Brown in with me on this. I'm very happy to have her back at kind of co-hosting some of this. Um, the I in part brought her back because Debbie is actually a scrap quilter. And so it was good to have somebody to kind of like, talk about the love of all things scrappy.
Yeah.
So we have a lovely conversation and talk about, what the guys are talking about, and then kind of talk too about what, from our 30 plus years of experience in the quilting world, like what we do as well. So I'm looking forward to that coming out and my episode here on the book report, it will be on June 29th, which is a Saturday. So you guys get a Saturday morning feature.
I'm excited to tune in. I'm really excited for their book. Shannon and Jason took a lot of time and effort in making this book not only beautiful, but also having projects that are really in their style, that scrappy, wonky, and there's a lot of it's versatile in the different projects. So I'm really excited to see what some of the other creators are going to be doing on the book tour.
One of the things that, just as a complete aside, and as we're wrapping up, my Debbie loved the jacket, like because a quilted jacket, as we're talking about all things garment making, um, she loved that jacket, just completely loved that jacket. So I think that's on her bucket list. Now, I love playing with words, like that is an alternate hobby. And so I loved some of the names of like how they changed some of the names of the quilt blocks that we've been using for like years. But also one of the names of the quilts is Ups and Downs. And right, that is totally a play on words. Like you just couldn't get you can't get around that. And that just made me giggle. So I really love I love that kind of thought process
For
for
sure, me too. Their author voice really comes out in that book with a little bit of humor and some of those plays on words. So not only is it a really informative book, but it's also really fun to read in general. So really looking forward towards that. And that, yeah, that jacket, beautiful, beautiful.
yeah. All right. Thank you again, Devin. And we'll look forward to having you again sometime in the future. Maybe we'll plan a quarterly event.
Ooh, maybe, I hope so.
We'll,
Well, thank you
we'll
so much.
definitely do it again. We'll definitely do it again.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.